Hi, I'm Simon Young from Real Results Training, and I'm going to show you a home version or band version of workout number 2 from phase 3 of lean eating. We're going to use 3 sorts of bands or 3 strengths: a red, a black and a purple for our regards, and if we have an accessory handle we want to use that because it makes it a little more comfortable. If you don't have an accessory handle, gloves are useful because it saves the bands from cutting your hands. So in the first block, we've got a front squat, a pull down, and what should be a stability ball exercise, but I'm going to show you the body weight variation. With the front squat, take your band, probably your heaviest band, but we want to just see what we're going to go with this. Put it under the insteps, put the feet hip width apart. Squat down and you put the band over your shoulder and lift up your elbows. It sits high on the arms. You're already in the bottom position of your squat and you stand. You've got to keep the elbows high, chin lifted. Look above horizontal, that will keep your elbows nice and high. Start the movement by pushing your bum back, knees out, sit to the bottom of your squat, drive up strong, squeeze the glutes in the top position. Sit down and back and drive up strong. There isn't a lot of extra work at the bottom of the squat, but there is more at the top, especially for stabilizing those shoulders. Our second movement is going to be a band pull down. This is in the PM, but we do it very slightly differently here. Instead of gripping the band, we slide our hands actually inside the band like it's a bracelet. Then we grab the band. That means we get a much more comfortable grip on our band. We kneel nice and tall, so don't collapse and don't rock. Pull your shoulder blades down and back first so you're not shrugging, like you're trying to put your shoulders into your back pockets. From there, we pull down and back, squeezing those shoulder blades. We control it up. We pull down and back, squeezing those shoulder blades and control it up. So if I turn around so you can see this a little differently, we pull the shoulders down and back first, so there's a big gap between ears and shoulders, then we pull it down and back, control it up. Down and back, control it up. Our third exercise is that modified planking type variation, and we call it a body saw. What we want to do is get into a nice plank, elbows and shoulders aligned, we're looking at our thumbs, bracing our abdominals. So as I mentioned in the previous video, with our abdominal brace, we want to be fairly low down in the bracing, like a Kegel exercise or like you're trying to stop mid-P. That low, deep feeling is what we're after. From there, we're going to soar just by moving at the elbows and shoulders and rocking on our toes. Start small. Really important you do this. Do not lose that engagement in the core, and from there you can progress by having your arms further in front. So, into a plank position. Be on your toes. Find your neutral, rocking, just on the toes and the elbows. To make this tougher, you start with the arms further in front, find your neutral, here's fine, there's a lot of work. There's fine, there's a lot of work. So that's your first 3. Next 3, we're looking at a hip raise. Instead of a stability ball, if we don't have one, we're going to need a sturdy chair or step for a hip raise. We're also going to do something slightly different for the push, and you've got to keep the triple extension the same. You bring in a nice sturdy chair or bench. You want to lie down with your leg at 90 degrees, heel into the bench, turn your toe towards your shin so you don't get cramp. Pin your triceps into the floor, put one leg in the air. You're going to squeeze your glutes, engage your hamstring to raise those hips nice and smooth. Control it down, just brush the floor, raise smooth, control down. Always keeping this 90-degree angle. To make this tougher, you can then shorten the points in touch with the floor by bringing the hands in. To make this even more challenging, you take your band, you put it across your hip bones and stretch it across. There's resistance then of the band over those hips as you raise and lower. Then with our band that's fastened, we go into a half kneeling position. Hips are square, the band is behind us, shoulders are tall. Without movement at the core, we press the band away, pull the shoulder blade down and back, press the band, control it down and back. We're always pressing with the knee that's on the floor, keeping the hips square. To make this a little tougher, we can go further away so we have more tension on the band, or go to a heavier band. Our final one is the triple extension. And it's not really that clear, I don't think, in the description. If we want to keep away from impact, we're going to do the triple extension without a jump. Put a slight bend in your knees. All jumping is driven by the hips, and it's a really good way to relearn that movement. Push your hips back. If you reach behind with the hands, you'll find those hamstrings straight away. Keep your head in straight line with the tailbone. Drive through, come back. Take your time to drive those hands back to find those hamstrings. As you accelerate through, you come up onto tiptoes and push back. We can progress, if we're good for impact, by going with a small jump, or progress further to a larger jump. Our next movements are going to be, there's two of them, a slam, and from the slam, hand walkover. For our slam, we're going to use a pillow. Nice and easy, grab hold of it nice and tight, find something you can hit. Now, because it asks for a kneeling slam, we want to work our core more. So stagger your stance, hips nice and square. Try and be just on the toe of this back foot, have the heel lifted, be on the heel of the front foot. So that's toe and heel. Hips are square. Grab hold of your pad. Because you don't have both feet on the floor, you're going to work your core harder. Do one side, then do the other. When it comes to the hand walkover, if you don't have a sturdy box or step, you can use a telephone directory. Alternatively, get in place in your plank, lock up the abs, and just move the hands side to side. To progress this further, you can lower yourself down onto your forearms, staying tight, press with the palms, come up, lower down, raise up. Try to make sure you use alternating hands each time. Keep the abs nice and tight. So to review, front squat with the band pull down, squeezing those shoulder blades. Body sore, rocking on those toes, moving just at the shoulders, keep the abs tight. Our next, that single hip raise, shortening the points of contact, adding a band if we need to. Our half kneeling press, adjusting for tension. Our triple extension, adding to jump if we're good for impact. Finally, staggered stance slams and hand